And here we go, boys. Boom, one backstabber, followed up with the second. Get the medic, miss him a few times, but you got him. Hey everybody, how's it going? Exony here, and today I wanted to talk to you about the Spy. Now we're not talking about the Spy as a class as a whole. I wanted to talk about a particular weapon in the Spy's arsenal that just never seems to get used. I'm talking, of course, about the red tape recorder. Now, some of you might just be like, okay, turn off completely, red tape recorder is one of the worst weapons in the game. It's completely useless. But here's our test subject. The engineer on the roof outside of Barn Blitz Lads. Look at him setting up that sentry. We're going to use him as our test subject. So, without further ado, we're going to go get in on him. Notice his level 3 sentry. Notice the sniper that's not there anymore. Also notice the revved up Brass Beast Heavy watching the sentry nest. I can't really try pistoling the engineer while he's directly looking at me, so I lay down my red tape recorder, de-level his sentry gun, and come back from a more advantageous position. Notice his sentry gun's also level 1 now, which made that a lot easier for me to pistol him, and I can come in and clean up on his buildings now, but the heavy's still there, so I mean whatever. And we're back again. You thought we weren't coming back, engineer? No. I use the red tape recorder as a spy. I am the living bane of your existence. I don't destroy your buildings. I de-level them. I make you re-level them. I don't give you the satisfaction of rebuilding your sentries. I instead install a dread into you of your buildings never being able to be leveled up, being stuck in a purgatory of level 1. And that's what makes the red tape recorder amazing. It doesn't destroy the engineer's buildings. It makes them so much easier for your team to take down in a push. Because we all know the dreaded push into 3 level 3 sentries on a last point on payload, and you're going to be there for 8 minutes because you rolled the first 2 points. But with the red tape recorder, a spy can do what he normally couldn't, because let's say you're on Gold Rush. Last point, there's 3 sentries. You're not going to be able to stab all those engineers. But you can be annoying as heck. You can get in there, lay down your red tape recorder, de-level some sentries, and get out. You don't need to destroy the buildings, you just need to make it easier for your team to get in. And that's what makes this weapon, good. You can use it in a situation where there's a lot of engineers setting up sentries to de-level a lot of them, making it easier for your team to push in. Now, obviously, with a weapon like this, it's very situational, there's going to be some downsides. The biggest downside is that you can't destroy sentries. Now, de-leveling sentries is kind of slow. It takes maybe 20 seconds to get from level 3 to level 1, and then just so much time for the building to actually be destroyed. You have to rely on your teammates to come in, clean up the damage on the sentry, and actually destroy them. With the actual sapper, you can lay it down and challenge the engineer, kill him, and, pistol down his sentry, because the sapper's going to be destroying it as you do it, so the engineer has to either whack the sentry and get the sapper off, or deal with you. He can't do both, and that puts him in a really bad situation. With the red tape recorder, he has more time to deal with you because the sapper the red tape recorder doesn't do that much work. So I mean, it's a weird situation you're in when you try 1v1ing an engineer. But against a group of engineers, like I said on a payload last point, you can just go in, lay them all down, dead ringer out, and you'll be fine. Your team will push in, and they'll be like, whoa, there's a bunch of level 2, level 1 sentries here, where there were a bunch of level 3s before. And it makes you quite annoying. One other bad thing about this is that when de-leveling something like a teleporter, you have to make sure you destroy it or someone else does, because if you kill an engineer and lay down the red tape recorder on his teleporter, he's going to have time to spawn and knock it off before it's actually destroyed. I mean, albeit it'll be level 1, but it'll still be built. So you have to make sure that you pick the teleporters when you kill it. Speaking more on the annoyance factor of it, is when you go in on an engineer, you don't have to just lay down all your sappers on all of his buildings, and he's going to knock them off of most, but get some. If you lay down your red tape recorder on most all of the buildings in an engineer's nest, he's going to have to get it off and prioritize one. So say he prioritizes his dispenser. So his dispenser will stay level 3 if he's vigilant and you don't get a chance to kill him or distract him any more than you could. It'll still be level 3, but by the time he gets to one of his other buildings, they'll be level 2 or hopefully level 1. So you create a situation for the engineer that makes him have to think about which buildings are the most important to him saving. And, it puts him in a really bad situation where some of his buildings are going to be de-leveled, possibly destroyed. and he has to think which one is the most helpful for his team at that moment. And that brings us back to the comparison between fighting multiple engineers and single engineers, because against multiple engineers, the red tape recorder really shines. That's where it is most useful, because when you get it onto multiple engineers, they're all going to be put into this panic of which building do I want to save the most, and they might try focusing on other people's buildings, letting their own be destroyed. And I know I'm talking about like a pub environment, but that's, you know, the red tape recorder isn't good in a 1 versus 1 situation with an engineer. It's very good in a situation where you can get to an engineer's buildings while he's not guarding over them and de-level them, making when you can't really push in and take him out on your own, and you're gonna make it easier for the rest of your team. I'm thinking about maps like Gold Rush. I'm thinking about maps like Hoodoo. Any of the maps where, you know, you just get stuck on last and it is just hell. This weapon can really alleviate some of those problems that those maps create. And, you know, the normal sapper can do a lot of the same things, but the red tape recorder is very underused, underlooked at, and I think it's a very powerful weapon in itself, albeit it has very situational uses. It's not as bad as a lot of people think. So that's all I really have for today. I just wanted to talk about the red tape recorder. I mean, it's a pretty cool weapon. I hope you've enjoyed seeing these clips. And why don't you tell me what you think about the red tape recorder down in the comments? Maybe you think it's the worst weapon in the game. Like, it should just be completely revamped, changed. Like, this thing has no place to be in Team Fortress 2. And, you know, you might have a valid reason there. Maybe I'll hear it. But maybe you agree. Maybe you think this weapon has a lot of potential that people don't really see. That's all I really have for today. Have a nice day, nice night, whatever time it is.